I just had this idea this afternoon and I thought I'll try it. So I'm basically going to walk you guys through the design I'm doing. So I'm doing some architectural floor plans or designs. I've pretty much got the floor plan done. First is a two-level building and it's got I forgot, I think it's five bedrooms. One, two, three, four bedrooms, a four-bedroom house. Okay. And I'm going to walk you guys through it. And what I'd love to do is to get your feedback on it. So I know everyone's got an idea, or design is quite subjective. Architectural design is subjective. Floor plans are subjective. My design may not work with you. Your design may not necessarily work with me. But I'm keen to hear your opinions and your suggestions on this design. Because yeah, I'd like to learn something from you guys as well. So I'll walk you guys through it. So I've got an entrance here. So the entrance is here. It's trying to create a grand entrance sort of way using these massive pivot doors that seems to be in trend at the moment. Um, so it's a huge door. I think I did a 1.5 or so. Or yeah, 1,750. So it's quite a big door, about almost 6 feet. So it's quite a big door at the entrance. So that door basically leads you in. And normally when you got a pivot door or a massive door at the entrance, what you're trying to do is create some sort of feeling, right? So when I'm designing, I always put myself in the space. I don't know how to explain it. If you're into the design or architectural world, you probably understand it more. But whenever I'm designing, I picture myself in the space, and I kind of like feel and see how things feel, or let's say where the bed is, where the lights, the switches are, where the window is. How do I feel going to this room? I can literally see it in my head whilst I'm designing. It's quite a nice thing to experience, in my opinion. So yeah, back to it. So we've got our main entrance here. Once you come in, you've got the staircase here, and because of that, normally once you open such a door, you want something that's going to wow you, or something that's going to be like, take your breath away. And it could be an artwork, it could be the volume. You can play volume, so sometimes you can have a really shallow entryway where it's probably like 2.1 meters exactly, the door height, and then once you open it, you've got a double volume space. So you're playing with spaces or volumes, and there's this feeling to it where it makes you feel like you've entered a massive. It's kind of like cathedrals and big churches. Like, well, not the yeah, most churches you've got the really really high ceilings, and you initially walk through a lobby where it's a lower ceiling, and you go into the main church auditorium, and there's a grand high ceiling, and it gives you this presence, or this, it's a way of kind of like projecting the essence of God, in essence, in design. So he's like, he's God Almighty. He's big. So there's create this. So there's so many layers to design. It's not just slapdashing your gun. I think as an architect, you think in so many different ways when you're doing design, and at the end of the day, it looks like pretty lines, but then there's a lot of thought goes through it. So hence the reason why people stay in school for 7 years, and so to study the this profession. So back to, so we've got a staircase here, which I'll probably have like a feature staircase based on materials or whatever it is. And also I'm creating this volume thing I spoke about. So there's a void which I explained to you when we get to the higher the next floor, the first floor. So once you come in, on your right hand side, you got the home study or home office, because of obviously with looking at how things are going. There's a lot of people working from home, so you always want to create that kind of space, especially if it's a big building. So you got that home office or study on the right hand side, and then you got a powder room or guest toilet. So it's always good to have it quite close to the entrance. So you got the guests come in, or yourself, you come in, and you're desperate. You don't have to rush through the entire house. You can literally just drop your bag there, and use the washroom. So you got that powder room here on the side, and then you come into the on the left hand side, and you got your open plan space. So I've got my dining and kitchen area here, and then you got your living area. So once again, I'll keep talking about how I design, because this is how I design. So normally when I design, I try and keep the living area, or what do they call these days, the multimedia center or the screen or where you have your screen or whatever it's called. I try to keep it such a way that once you come into the living room, you don't see it. You're trying to create sort of privacy. There's a few layers to this design. Like there are different zones in the house, even on the same level. There's still different zones in the house. You got private, you got semi-private, and you got your public zones. So you try and separate these zones with design. So once again, like the living area, you may be in the house watching a movie or series or documentary. I feel like it's not good design that someone just walks in and sees what you're watching. You don't have to be watching something bad, but there's still some sense of privacy in that. So I tend to design it in that way. So you realize that once you come in, you got the TV on this wall. There's a multimedia wall here. It's quite a large wall, so I know that once I pass this on to an interior designer, or if the client gives this to an interior designer, I'm creating like avenues for them to bring their creativity or do something, and I know they can do something really nice with this wall. I've created this spaces like a shelf for the TV. I'm not the biggest fan of TVs on the walls. I don't know, just me. So create a shelf. Obviously, it's an interior item, so it can be taken out. But I created this where it wraps around that wall, and in my head when I'm designing, thinking in terms of materials, this could be a stone wall or brick wall, something different texture, just to give you texture and color in the space. But once again, it's totally up to the end user, the client, or and his or her interior designer. So you got a massive space here for the living area. You can tell based on scale, everything is to the right scale. So there's a lot of space around to play with. It doesn't feel too like small. And then you got a dining area here. I'm currently using a table that seats eight, so it's a good size table for a four-bed house. And then you got a kitchen with a island. Once again, very spacious. It's a very spacious house. I tend to design for the Ghanaian market or the African market, and we tend to design a house or build a house as big, and that's what I'm used to. Not these small houses in the UK, but yeah. So you got a large kitchen area, good walk around space. You got your double sink on the side, and you got your hob on the side. There's a basically a microwave oven, so I'm using that. I'm basically designed with a tall, like a tall unit in mind, where you got a microwave and oven and a tall unit at the far end, and then you got a fridge on the other end. So basically, what that does is that it screens the kitchen off a bit, and also, but the client has the option to basically pull in a wall here, close it off if they want to, but it's designed this way. So you've got, in terms of windows, you've got quite a few windows around, so it brings a lot of natural light, a lot of ventilation, natural ventilation. Once again, like I said, because I designed for the Ghanaian market, I try and keep in mind the use of natural ventilation as much as possible. So, and then we've got the laundry area. We've got a pantry. Sorry, we've got pantry storage at the back. We've got a laundry as well at the back, which is good because you can easily get access to the back from there. Um, and then you got some storage units at the top. You got washer and dryer there, and then you got a staff quarters. So in Ghana, sometimes you tend to, or sometimes, even though I design for the Ghanaian market, most of my clients tend to be in the diaspora, so they may not necessarily live there the entire time. So it's good to have a staff quarters where someone lives there, but they're not necessarily in the house. So you realize that with this, they have quick access to, let's say the laundry, let's say the pantry, the kitchen, because sometimes these people also help in the house in terms of maybe being a chef or being a, or just a general help. So they tend to have quick or easy access to the laundry, the kitchen, basically the public zones in essence, right? So you've got that, and then you got your first bedroom, which is your bedroom one on the ground floor. So this could be a guest bedroom, and also I think it's good to have at least one bedroom on the ground floor, because then you're providing the ability to have, like, let's say, a guest. And coming back to like this whole zones, right? You separated it so that then the ground floor is the most public zone, right? Because people can easily have access to everywhere. So this is where if you've got a guest and you and your kids are upstairs, it's a bit of separation in terms of zones. So, and also, you got your mom come around or your dad come around based on their age. You can't keep using the stairs up and down whenever they want to go to the bedroom. So it's good to have a bedroom on the ground floor if you get the drift. And then you got your closet area here built in. Once again, very popular in Ghana. And then you got your bathroom here. So it's got. I tend to design with concealed plumbing, because I think I'm not the biggest fan of putting pipes in the walls, which is a very common thing in Ghana, where we put the pipes, we chisel the walls because we use a lot of blocks, concrete blocks, so you can easily chisel it. But one, I personally think it affects the structural integrity of the building, because the blocks are designed at a certain size and volume to basically serve a purpose, right? It forms part of the structural stability of the house. So once you go in and start, you know, cutting parts of it or chiseling parts of it out, making them hollow, I know you're going to fill it back with cement, but I think it's not the best thing. It's not the best practice. And secondly, I'm not the biggest fan of burying pipes in walls, because I feel like with all the expansion and contraction in the pipes due to temperature, uh, after a while, if there's a leak, you've got a lot of work. You have to then once again chisel the walls again, because there's going to be damp in the walls. You start to see stains on the walls, and then you have to do that. Then you have to take the pipes out. It's a messy work. So I like to have my pipes in a duct, right? Vertical or horizontal duct. So my designs tend to have ducts in general. The shame is sometimes I do the designs for my clients. They take it to Ghana or Nigeria or Senegal or wherever in Africa or West Africa, and the builders take these things out. Maybe because they're not familiar with it, or maybe they think it's a lot of work, or they think they're saving on wood, but there's a reason why I designed it in. So sometimes if I'm not in charge or part of the construction management team, then unfortunately I'm not able to enforce these things. But I think from design point of view, I put them in, right. At least I've done that part of it. I've created the design for it. I created the spaces for it. I made sure that those spaces still works with the design and gives a feel. So that's why you're gonna see these spaces. So they are all basically ducts or vertical ducts, and also it creates you're able to then use these ducts around the spaces, because you're not gonna have pipes all over here. You probably have a few pipes in this corner, so you can use one part for your shampoonage or your basically what it is. In these bathrooms you got like a little shelf where you can keep your washing soap or your I don't know what you want to call it, but yeah, stuff like that in that area, without once again taking part of the blockwork out to create it, because I feel like one, you're reducing the structural integrity of the building. You wouldn't see it immediately, but time will tell. So I've got that here. So that's the first bedroom, and then we've got the cinema room here. So this space I created as a cinema room or a kids playroom. So if you haven't got any kids yet, or don't have kids in general, or it's just you, this room is perfect. A perfect space to just have, just lounge in, watch a movie. I created this like basically this wall so you can have a massive screen or a projector, and project onto this wall from the side, and just chill, watch a movie on Netflix with your friends, loved ones over here. Or if it's a kids room, obviously, yeah, you can have the kids here with all their toys here, there, so that you keep the other spaces as clean as possible. But kids. So you got that here, and then you got your office here. So that's basically it. So everything basically revolves around this staircase in the center. And I've got this wall here. Now the reason why I created this wall was a bit of separation from the bedrooms, from the living room and then the kitchen, but also it also gives you a space where you can do something like a feature wall. So the material could be different. It could be polished concrete, it could be brick, it could be clad in something, it could be painted in a very what do you call it, contrasting color, just to brighten the space. It could be a living wall where you have like plants, or you have certain things growing on the wall inside. So there's so many things you can do with it. You can have some artwork on this side or that side. So I'm thinking of all these things when I'm designing. Honestly, like when I design for my clients, I'm thinking about everything, every single part of it. So, and that's the reason why I like floor plans. I like function. I'm more of form follows function. In the architectural world, the two ways people tend to design is either form follows function or function follows forms. If you're doing like a skyscraper, then fine. You want the function to follow the form, because you want to come up with something nice on the external. But when it's a building, it's a house that people live in 24/7. It has to work. It simply has to work. Like the function has to work. If I design for a client and it doesn't work, I failed. So I take it very seriously. Like, as much as I wouldn't live there, they will be living there every single day. Imagine going to your kitchen and you like it just doesn't work. Like it's something you have to turn to do something, or the bedroom is you have to live with it. Like you actually have to live with it unless you're gonna rip down walls and try and fix it. But then that's extra money. So as someone designing a client's house, it's my responsibility to make sure it works. So I'm really passionate about like function of spaces and how it works and how it flows together, you know. So yeah, so that's the ground floor. And the first floor you come up, so this you see here means there's a void. So like I mentioned earlier, if you remember the entrance, so there's going to be a void here. So it's massive. You come into the massive door, then you look up and it goes all the way to the ceiling, and you can have like some a lighting fixture there. That maybe a chandelier, massive one, could be quite classic or very modern. Lighting feature in that space, and then you got like a balcony or what do you call it? A handrail that wraps around. So can you just imagine standing here and seeing that? Like, if you, I don't know if you close your, I don't know if you guys can. I'll definitely do like 3Ds later on, but if you stand there, if you enter the room, you see this nice feature staircase, and you look up and there's this balustrade going up, and you got a. I think it just works. It's just going to be magnificent. So you got that. You come up here. You can come into the balcony, and once again, you got a void to the living, so you can see the living from there. It means that there's a lot more space to do stuff, lighting, so much. And then you got your second bedroom here, so it's got a walk-in closet ish sort of thing. Create a bit shelf here, so you want to keep like your watches or your perfumes, everything that's here. Or you can actually have a large mirror here, have a chair here, and then that could be your get ready kind of like space. It's quite a large space, very enough space to move around. So it's a good size walk-in closet. You got your bathroom here once again. So every single room's en suite. It's a Ghanaian thing. It's a Nigerian thing. It's African thing. Most of the bedrooms are en suite. So yeah, you got that here, and then you got this here. So and I know I've got a client that was really against having TVs in the bedroom, but once again, it's a common thing. People like it, so I tend to design so that if they want to, they can do it. So that's the reason why I tend to design with that in mind. So I know, okay, if they do have the bed here, then they could have the TV here. But if you don't want a TV in your bedroom, that's absolutely fine. I think it's good. You can be in a room and read, do something, that's fine. Or you just go to your room and sleep. So that's that. So you come over to this side. Once again, massive wall, perfect for artwork, feature wall, something, something creative. So I'm still thinking about interior, the design inside, even though like yeah, an interior designer probably have a better ideas than I do. But at least I've set the tone. I've given them the avenue to do or to go wild. I'll come to this space later because I feel like that's the grand space. So, and then you got bedroom three here. So you got once again, space for TV. You got and yeah, and this side has a balcony. So a lot of people like to have a balcony, a bit of outdoor space, from the bedroom. So you got balcony here. You got storage here. So the general storage for suitcases. So like people need to think, especially with my clientele being in diaspora, most of them they're going to arrive at their home, so like two suitcases at least and hand luggage, right? And if there's four of them, that's a lot. So I always try and create storage space where you can have a like rack of shelves. So you come, unpack, and then you can just keep them there rather than underneath the bed. Because these days with the modern beds, there isn't space under, or it just doesn't work with like the whole lifestyle. So I create a special storage or a storage space where they can keep all these suitcases in. And then yeah, you got the bedroom. Once again, good size bedroom with the bathroom. This bedroom hasn't got walk-in closet like the other one, but it's still a good size bedroom. Then grand finale, we got the master suite or the master, or sorry, not the master. I'm basically transitioning into using primary bedroom than saying master. Just trying to be conscious of times and being sensitive to everyone. So and it's always it's not everything anyway. Let's not go there. So yeah, we got the primary bedroom here. You once again, I thought why not? Just why not is a reason why I introduced another pivot door, a large door, because I feel like the primary bedroom is like I also want to create that kind of feel. So you open quite a big door into the primary space. You've got a tea or bar area, depending on your, how your style. So this area is basically like, it could be a wet bar if you want, because you can easily have like a sink here if you want to do a wet bar, because you've already got plumbing here, so you can easily put a plumbing in. It's not a big, it won't be a massive thing. Where if there wasn't any bathroom here, then you probably have to think about how do you. And I don't like having the pipework outside on the wall. I just don't like it. So you got tea bar area here where you can get yourself in the morning, wake up, brush your teeth, fix yourself a tea in the morning, turn around, sit down in your armchair, and then you got your TV here. And this space is separates the space sort of. But then I thought, I have the TV as like on a swivel, so either way, you can either turn it so it faces you when you're lounging here, or you can turn it so it faces you if you're in bed and you want to watch the news or a movie or something. So you got that flexibility, and then you got the double door that leads to the balcony. Gives a bit of I'm thinking like French doors. So you open up, and then you got like, yeah, a nice balcony space, and then a primary bathroom. So yeah, this is a big space, and um, yeah, it's grand. It needs to be. It's a primary bathroom. You got freestanding bath here. You got his and hers sinks on either side. You got a nice window here. I like the idea of having that. Obviously, on the first floor, there's a bit of privacy. Depend on what's here. If it's a road, then it's good. You don't, there's no one overlooking. Or you can have some planted, some good trees here to like give some privacy. Or you can just have frost glass. But I like to drop it down so when you're in the bath, you can actually get some outdoor views or some sunlight. It's just a nice feeling to experience. And then you got your shower space here, door head shower, obviously, so you can shower with someone special. And then you got the walk-in closet. Sorry, not the walk-in closet. The WC here, and it's closed. And the reason why in the primary I tend to do the toilets closed is because let's just leave it there. Yeah, I'm sure you understand and you appreciate why. But I tend